Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. I'm trying to figure out, there we go. Sorry I've been kind of MIA, but we have life. Anyways, it's not what I'm here to talk about today. Today I want to talk about the importance of inclusion and some research and things I've looked into and what I've realized. What I've realized, and I think most people in the disability community would agree with you, is we have a long way to go as it relates to inclusion. We have come a long way, but there is so much more work to do. One, it depends on where you live. If you're outside of the US, inclusion and what that looks like is so much different. And so this is a thing that I could probably talk about for multiple videos. So what I want to focus on is what I have realized lately. And that is the lack of inclusion for books. Excuse me. Books, I would say, are moving quicker with inclusion than whether it's YouTube or TV or what have you. So what I'm starting to do is trying to figure out, okay, what can I do? What's my role in helping there be inclusion? And one thing I thought of is, well, what if we wrote a book about our Misty? It says, Meet My Sissy. So I wrote this from Thomas's perspective. Dan did the drawing, Thomas did the coloring. And Miss D provided the subject of the book. So it was a family thing. Okay, it says, Meet My Sissy. And that's what Thomas calls Miss D. My Sissy is from the Philippines. So we had Dan draw the flag of the Philippines and Thomas colored it. She uses a wheelchair to help her get around. Sorry, I don't have it memorized. I should, because I wrote it. So she uses a wheelchair to help her get around. Miss D's wheelchair is actually black and purple, and I will tell you that Thomas was in great distress when he couldn't find a black because he wanted to match her wheelchair perfectly. When he drew the flag, or when he colored the flag, he looked it up so that he could do it correct. She also has a gait trainer to help her learn to walk. That is Dan's best rendition of a gait trainer, which is so much better than I could do. And again, Thomas pulled up a picture and tried to match his Sissy's gait trainer the best he could. But her favorite way to move around is on her scooter, on her belly. And this is true. She has a blue scooter with red wheels that she loves to scoot around the whole entire excuse me, first floor on her scooter, on her belly. Thomas also likes the scooter. And it says, My Sissy is my best friend, and I love her very much. And yes, that's portraying her standing, but she can. She can stand with help if somebody is holding her hand or behind behind her, supporting her with her braces, she can stand with help. And so, yes, this is rough, but when Misty goes to preschool or kindergarten or whatever it may be, whenever we end up in an in-person situation, I want to have some type of resource to hand to the kids, hand to the parents, so they get to know her a little bit, not because she has a disability, but just her personality and who she is. She's somewhat expressive, and I believe, excuse me, that will come more with time. But as her family, we know and understand that we're gonna have to work really hard on an inclusion. Miss D has some things, by the world standards, I guess, stacked against her. She doesn't look like the rest of us in her family. English is not her first language. And on top of that, she has spastic triplegia cerebral palsy. And so my hope and prayer with whatever books we write, or whether we just make them for our friends, whatever videos we make, that people in her situation are no longer like, ooh, like, we don't want this separation. We want inclusion. We want people to come up and say hi and not to stare. And so I've looked into it. There's very few shows, excuse me, especially geared towards kids, that have people with disabilities, whether that's Down syndrome or kids with crutches or kids with wheelchairs or kids that have a feeding tube or a trach or whatever it may be. It's lacking. And I don't want it to be this show of all these people with disabilities, look how they act. No, I want to see shows that we're just watching on a daily basis, whether that's Daniel Tiger or Ryan's World or what else? Thomas and Friends or whatever it may be, just for there to be a character that isn't like everybody else. So that for kids and adults too, that it becomes, oh, there are, different people in the world. It's not this one size fits all, this one everybody looks the same situation. Because the more you're around different situations, the more it becomes not so different, and you don't have the attitude of, oh, that's strange or whatever, because they're not. They're just like you and me. They might get around differently. They might use different communication devices. They may use sign language, whatever. They may walk with a cane because they are blind, or they may have a seeing eye dog or whatever. It doesn't matter. What's frustrating for me right now is there's so much isolation and there's so much separation from everybody else, and the pandemic has ended up magnifying that separation and division for people with disabilities. And that's not the way it should be. They shouldn't feel left out when they're watching TV. They shouldn't feel left out when they're going to read books. They should be able to pick up a book or turn on the TV and see people like them. And it's just, we're not there yet. And so I'm trying to figure out what I can do, what part I can play to excuse me, to get us to that point, you know, because little girls like this with braces, they're actually more common than you think. And you know, we should be okay with seeing little girls in wheelchairs, and we should think of their wheelchairs as cool and colorful, and, you know, living in a country where all the medical equipment and mobility equipment and stuff is harder to find. It makes me want to put this stuff out there more. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you have. And I want to encourage you to look around you. If you see somebody that looks different, don't stare. Just go up and say hi, and who knows, maybe make a new friend. Bye. God bless.